Have you ever wanted to play D&D, but were worried about that guy who smells like stale cheese? Well, welcome to 10K Quests, where you'll be joining the adventures of Jeff, the half-elf rogue, Sparky, the Kenku sorcerer, Taya, the half-elf ranger, and Kithral, the halfling monk. You've all come together looking for a wanted individual. You've decided that the best time to see if you can find information on this individual, or individuals, that is your hope, is that you can come to a wedding reception that is being held in the Makistan mountain range. It's a very rural place, and in this time of year, there aren't very many people around there. Sometimes people go to it for a vacation spot, but at this time in the winter, right now the only group that is there at the moment is a group of nobles who are celebrating the wedding of Milanor and Yillith. Ooh. So you're going through, traveling up this mountain range, and you've started happening upon this major blizzard that's coming by. So to find shelter, you're kind of hurrying your way along, and you make it to the North Horn Inn. You enter this inn, coming in from this terrible storm, and it's a very warm atmosphere. You can tell that the crowd that's there is not really typical to this region. They're city folk, to put it lightly. They're very noble, wealthy individuals that are spending some time in a rural area to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Lots of people are drinking, lots of merriment and fun. You kind of make your way in from the storm. This cold gust comes in with you as you shut the door. Some gazes look your way, and maybe you're not exactly looking the part, but you walk in and nobody's thinking too much twice about it. Might get a few odd looks here and there, but you enter into this environment. Everybody's seated throughout the inn. You're in the main room of the North Horn Inn. Ooh. You'll enter in through the north door, closer to the west side. So you'll be coming where that sort of semi-stage up there is, as well as you'll be near that fireplace, that kind of big hearth over there. And you'll see that there are some individuals seated just to the south of you in that round table, as well as several different families huddled around the benches, and some people, more locals, tend to be hanging out near the bar area, while the guests are mingling around the picnic tables, long chairs. Some of the booths are full of, individuals close to the families. And you'll see that the what appears to be the newly married couple is around the circular table closer to the middle south of the room, just near those tables there. And you'll see that they have this big kind of mound. There's other gifts that are to the floor to their left and your right, and you'll see that there's all of these gifts up there and an envelope or two, and they're all kind of in the midst of merriment, and it's this really good scene, and you're kind of looking for some people that have some very specific descriptors to them. You've got some names, and you've all kind of come together around a meeting that you had in a nearby town, Winterrest, that is several miles, about a day's travel south of you, that isn't being hit as hard by the winter, that is kind of, it's a winter, it's a prettier winter than the harshness of the mountains that you've been traveling through for the past few days. And you're looking for Demont Lafleur. Demont Lafleur is wanted alive for a total of 1,000 gold. Ooh. You've all kind of come around Jeff, who is let's say for lack of a better word, an urban bounty hunter. The rest of you, kind of looking for adventure one way or another, have ended up in each other's midst, looking for money, possibly fame, fortune, adventure, to fill out the uncharted ends of your maps, so to speak, trying to fill out those parts of your life. And you're looking for this individual, as well as one other person who is wanted, that you know very little information about, but is involved in the crimes of Demont Lafleur, and his name is Belmond Rousseau. He is wanted alive as well for a much smaller amount, $200, and very little is...
$200?
$200. Yeah, 200 yen. He's wanted for 200 gold.
How much is that in zenny?
Yeah. His appearance is unknown. However, the one descriptor you have is that witness claims that he is remarkably handsome.
Oh God, it's me.
Oh my God. Demont Lafleur
Yeah.
is a human male. He has long dark hair in the back, but he actually has a partially receding hairline. And he's known to have sometimes facial hair, sometimes he shaves it off. He's kind of not a.
Sometimes he has facial hair, sometimes he shaves it off.
He's known to very, very quickly change his facial appearance in order to thwart authorities.
I like it's not partying, like business in front, party in back. It's just like sadness in front, party in back.
He's not like, he's not like this and he's got a mullet, but he's like, his hairline's going up a bit. He's wanted for
I'm still young.
Look at it.
He's wanted for destruction of public property and theft of Federation artifacts. He's been known to utilize dynamite and may be armed and dangerous.
Yeah, the nice thing about playing a dumb character is I don't really have to worry too much about notes. Because it's out of character for me to be like, oh, I know who you are.
Okay, well, I'm a dumb character too, and I'm still taking notes.
I think we kind of all are.
This can only go well.
I mean, that's one way it could go.
So it's a very homey environment. You guys might feel a little awkward walking in, but you quickly realize that everyone's relatively friendly. Maybe it's just this level of awkwardness where they're not used to dealing with common folk or whatever the situation may be. So everything just seems happy. In the merriment of the moment, it seems like a very welcome environment as you enter this beautiful inn. And this piece is suddenly interrupted by the shattering of a glass window on the east side as a door flings open and the cold air enters in.
That would be.
The door kicks open right next to the bar
Yep. Okay.
as a large, well-armed orc party busts through the door. As they come in, as they enter in, they make quite a ruckus, glass flying all over the place. They enter in, and this well-armed, large orc up front grabs a halfling by the bar and chucks him bowling ball
I don't know where I thought that was going.
across the bar, knocking over steins and glasses. There's all this destruction as they wield their weapons, shove people to the ground, and enter in violently during this massive ruckus. You see 3 orcs enter in, all through the east doorway. Roll for initiative.
It's fine.
What are your guys' roll initiatives? Let's go highest first.
16.
16.
I'm assuming
added
that everybody else was complaining about it.
And you put my dexterity.
Well,
It's
plus
1.
well,
Yes.
Anybody 15 or above still? Still at 16? Anybody 10, 15? Anybody 5 to 10?
7.
8. I beat you.
5.
8 was Elisa.
Yes.
Jamie, you're 7.
7.
7.
So Bill is first. These orcs are now starting to grab and injure people. That poor halfling has already skittered his way to the end of the bar where he was launched across the front end. People are starting to try and get out of the way, and the married couple in that south table are starting to recoil, trying to look for an exit as some people are trying to either file out or file in, but there's kind of these jams and people are crawling over themselves. It's all chaos around you.
I'm going to hide behind this table. I'm going to use my action to hide.
So Bill skitters behind some noble folks who are all kind of looking to
You
doors.
say my name when you're talking to me.
So Jeff
There you go.
skitters to the back, and he's kind of gripping that little house plant in the back corner there, looking for any sort of...
Do you want me to roll a stealth? Because I'm trying to actually hide from them.
Oh, absolutely.
15?
15, you say.
No, that's quite.
Bill gets behind those people, and behind the chaos of everything, it would be very difficult to individually pick him out with all the different things happening. So any attention that would be put towards him is obviously lost on anybody who would be a threat in the situation.
And that's my turn.
Up next, we have Kithral.
Oh, great.
I'm a hero.
You're a good hero. I'm gonna run and I guess kind of place myself somewhere between these tables.
So you start to, even though there's all this chaos, you're able to pretty deftly shimmy past some of the people and position yourself amongst the tables, putting yourself around people, but not, maybe taking an aggressive stance, but not openly hostile towards them. So you positioned yourself in a pretty good position there. Is there any other action or bonus action you wish to take, preparing yourself or preparing anything?
Not right now.
Alrighty, up next we have Sparky.
Sparky,
You're up, Spunky.
he is going to run to that table and kind of duck behind that, and he pops his head up, points his hand at this orc here, and he's going to cast Ray of Frost. A frigid beam of blue-white light streaks towards a creature within range. Let's see here. What's its AC? Wait, no, you can't tell me. No, I'm used to knowing this.
How does this game end?
Well,
Either way,
19 plus.
gonna hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit. It's like 23.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a ranged
till
spell
they're
attack,
talking
so
part of it.
23 against AC.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah,
You can roll for damage.
Sure, that sounds
1d8,
great.
4. It takes 4 cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of my next turn.
So this ray of frost comes from Sparky, and it's narrowly getting past some of these noble individuals as it finally some force has decided to stop this onslaught of violence coming from them, and you blast this orc who's not expecting someone to bring forth this power, and it nails him as he's pushed up against some of these stools back here. His just unchecked power is now put in place as you've started attacking this orc. Up next, what am I
Good
doing?
job, Spunky.
Now the orcs start to begin their turn here. The orc that is closest to the bar has now decided to get behind that bar to not only take cover, but to
This one?
behind the bar. Yep, right there. He gets behind there, and the owner who's back there, the guy working the bar, he ends up kind of like trying to maybe stop him, but you can tell he's just floored by the situation here. And he's pushed down into the corner of where this bar is. His head kind of hits the side violently as this orc is starting to take charge.
Now they've got too far.
As this orc pulls out a javelin and takes aim at Sparky. But he's not super concerned about necessarily hitting you. He's just at this point looking to cause mayhem. So he ends up throwing this javelin towards Sparky. What is your AC?
Not great. 11?
He does hit you.
It's almost impossible to miss.
So he throws this javelin as it's, by the time you've done your Ray of Frost, these people have kind of fallen out of their chairs and they're kind of looking at what's going on. They're seeing that you are now engaging them, so they're just trying to get out of the way of this mayhem. This orc returns fire with a javelin and he ends up nailing you with it. Like clean in the shoulder, ends up hitting you with this javelin. He's gonna end up dealing some damage to you as well.
Well, now they've gone too far.
That doesn't sound good.
Sparky's
He ends up dealing 9 damage to Sparky.
Sparky's down.
Nice.
Down?
He has 8 health.
Oh, dang.
You just hear, like, as this javelin hits him, just like a and as the javelin pins him to the ground. A puff of feathers. Wait, do I get any, like, because I'm hiding behind the table, like, do I get, like, AC bonus for, like, ducking behind, like, the table?
Yeah, you probably should.
Okay. Because I think it's supposed to be, like, 2 for half cover. And, like,
No, you're right.
so I don't know if that changes anything.
He's just trying to
I don't
save
know how
his
high he roll. I'm just
No,
trying to...
that would have saved you.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Now, do we want to edit that out?
No, we'll leave in the argument. I like it. It's compelling.
No, it's a good argument.
If you say Sparky's down, Sparky's down.
No, I agree. No, I think it's good that. Yeah, because I guess I
Glad
didn't.
you thought of
Yeah,
that.
Spunky's
I think
dead,
it's
guys. We gotta cut our losses.
Okay, so
So this javelin.
back up to 8.
This javelin travels over you and it ends up like going way over top of you and ends up sticking into that wall right above that houseplant by Bill. So it ends up hitting this and like bam, hits that.
Can you do that one more time for me?
No. So this orc by the window up here and by the circular table starts to take notice of all the combat. And in his path to start coming over there, he ends up, there's people at this table that are now recoiling. He ends up taking one of the people and like using him as a human shield as he starts to move forward.
This one?
Yes. No, pardon me, the one by the circular table. He's going to go through in between those tables, and he's going to start to move forward in that direction as he's starting to like engage some of the people who are resisting. And he has them held like hostage with this like little knife he has going on, this really like makeshift sort of thing. So he's going to go through and probably just off this guy and start causing as much damage as possible. Now the individual that's between the two long tables is going to end up charging forward and engaging with Kithril right in front there. And he's going to attempt to send a great axe through your skull.
Oh, please. That sounds fun.
All right.
Does a 27 hit?
What's your armor class?
15. It hits.
Does a 23 hit? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Probably. Can I attempt to duck?
All right, let's roll for damage.
Now's a good time to say that.
What's your hit points here?
9. Don't kill me.
6.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
That's better. The stop did not help anything.
So he ends up coming forward and sending this axe over and ends up hitting you more on the side. You're able to maneuver out of the way, but he ends up taking a hit out of you.
Cool.
That is the orc's term. Up next we have
Spunky, no.
Taya.
Do something.
I'm gonna pull out my longbow.
I will say you are probably better equipped to get in and strength it up.
I don't know if I can actually, you know what? Scratch that. I am gonna pull out my short sword.
Yeah. You going up?
Go over the table
Ooh, over this way, or
this way.
this way.
Do a
just
sweet,
gonna-
like, slide
Like
over.
car
I'm just
hood.
gonna jump
Yeah.
right on him and stab him down the neck if I can.
All right, make an attack roll. What are you attacking him with?
Roll a 20.
Short sword.
Short sword.
That is that one. This one with 20
I
sides.
was like, where did it go? It's over here. Fuck me.
Is that
It's a 3.
3 plus 8?
Probably.
That's an 8
not
total
hurt.
for you.
8 total.
Yeah.
It does not hit. You end up sliding over, but you end up like a front of a car hood that's too slick. You kind of like lose your balance, and your shot
A
doesn't
little
quite
too
go
far.
through. So now we go back to Sparky,
We're behind you still.
who narrowly missed.
I think it's my turn.
No, you don't get a turn, Jeff. It is Jeff's turn. Yes.
Jeff is a
Sorry, I was
coward.
going.
I don't want to go now.
Fine, don't.
Just gonna hide back by this plant.
Absolutely can.
Can I, from where I'm at, do I have a shot at this guy, or would I be better off going for that one?
I would say that if you rounded the table a little bit closer to that doorway,
Like over this way?
you'd have a yes. You could get a shot at the near one.
Okay.
I suppose you'd say, or if you rounded to the opposite end of that table, you could
gotcha.
shoot the other one. Yep.
I'll shoot at that guy.
All right. Go ahead and roll
Do I,
damage.
do I get
That's
advantage
65.
for being hidden?
Yes.
Got advantage. Still not great.
That
That
is
is
high.
a 13.
That hits.
Okay. And then I get my sweet sneak attack damage. Okay. So I'll get an extra d6 onto my. So I'm gonna roll 2d6. So 3 and a 6. So I'm doing 12 damage to that guy.
Wonderful.
Pew pew pew.
Now that is the same one that Jamie also damaged.
Is he down yet?
He's having a real rough day.
Yeah. I
So
can
from this table where the nobles are, he's not even thinking about, because he just had somebody do a car hood slide across the table, and he's been hit by a ray of frost, and he's engaged you. The last thing on his mind is anything coming from this table of posh people. And all of a sudden, this arrow kind of comes through the chaos and ends up nailing him right in the neck, kind of going right through him, and he ends up dropping in a bloody heap on the ground in between these tables. And all these noble people are kind of like shocked at the mayhem and the carnage that's in front of them, and you do kill that orc in the middle of those tables.
Do I say anything cool after I kill him?
It's not my decision.
Do I like? You just got shot through the neck by an arrow. And then I
don't know if
look
that
look
counts
at the
as
posh
cool.
people who are
Right next to you,
yeah,
who are
like-
now like pacing themselves.
Sparky just
Yeah.
turns around. And it's like, what?
No,
chill out up there,
you
Spunky.
repeat.
Yes, I'm keeping that. And they're like, you just got shot through the neck by an arrow.
You just got
But I say it real cool. Like I looked cool. I was saying it. You just got shot through the neck by an arrow.
So now it is Kathryl's turn.
Okay. So this one's dead.
Correct. You can remove that if you'd like.
Okay, yeah, that'd be easy. I guess I will attempt to do a reverse car hood slide.
Which is also just a regular card.
And I'm gonna attack this one with my short sword.
Short.
Short sword.
Go for it.
A little bit better. Do I add anything to this?
Yeah, it'd be proficiency and dexterity. So
Both?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. 16?
16. That does hit.
Yay. Okay. D4. Nope.
D6.
D6. Thank you.
And
One?
you'd add your short sword. It'd be dexterity because you're a monk. So it'd be 4 damage.
Yep.
4
And-
damage.
And then remember, since you're a monk, you get an unarmed attack with that also.
I do also. So can I like hit him with my sword and then like
Follow through.
follow through with a
Sweet
kinda
roundhouse.
left hook
Yeah.
or something?
Yep. And that's also
That's an unarmed strike, right?
but would you do a
You'd roll again for that.
roll to
yeah,
try
you
to
roll
hit.
again for that, and then hers is a D4 for now.
Yeah.
I believe.
gotcha.
Okay.
be-
15.
15 does hit.
Okay. 3.
Wow, I almost dealt more damage with your fist follow through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you add your dexterity onto that
I
as well.
also?
I believe so. If
Cool.
you're gonna
So
double
6.
check, yeah.
I'll take your word for that. 6. Yeah, you definitely dealt more damage. So yeah, you end up getting him with this initial strike where you kind of come across and slash him. So he's kind of like recoiling from that pain, and then your follow through right towards his wound, like really brings it home, and you deal a very heavy amount of damage to this orc.
Take that.
Up next is Sparky.
Sparky.
You got him, Spunky.
He's gonna run around this side. 5, 10, 15, 20. Yep. Hide behind this table now, and he's gonna start shooting at the one behind the bar with his ray of frost. Pops his head up.
Wonderful. Keep in mind that he is also behind cover as well.
Yep. Not great. 7 plus 4. Yeah, 11.
You do not hit him. Your ray of frost goes through, and you end up hitting some of the nice wines and spirits behind, and
They're
you end
nice
up
and chilled.
clashing, and you like
Yes, and
a lot
They're
of
very
them-
chilled.
cocktails.
Yeah, a lot of the things behind the bar end up kind of
Lot
like
of
exploding in
shattering
this,
glass.
this frost explosion.
They're
Gets
ready
hit
to
by
drink.
under the glass.
We're all just like, yes, please.
Steps on a piece of glass.
Yeah, he gets like
Is debilitated.
infected. Yeah.
He doesn't die now, but like the tetanus is gonna get him.
Can you get that?
My
next from
final
glass?
revenge.
They didn't clean much.
That's true.
So what ends up happening is this big ray of frost comes up here, and this guy behind the bar, he starts to see that like one of his guys is down. This orc is like looking and seeing that things are not necessarily as easy as he thought they'd be coming in. They were going to come up and roughs up some people, maybe take some people, and he's starting to see that there's now a problem as people are starting to drop, and this combat isn't going their way. And in this kind of like rush to like cause some mayhem and get out maybe with his life while he still can, he reaches across the bar and ends up grabbing like this guy who looks pretty well dressed, and he's trying to see if maybe he can like take some hostages, and he ends up grabbing this guy or a human shield, and he pulls him up over the bar. And that's when you see a man with long dark hair and a receding hairline pull up, and you know him to be Demont Lafleur, who is being grabbed from the bar by this orc, and he's being dragged back behind this bar as he's kind of like kicking and like whinging and looking for a way that he can weasel his way out, and he's ended up being dragged by this massive orc. This other orc up front sees that there's a commotion behind the bar, and he ends up trying to, he like grabs this chair behind him and he knocks it in front of him to block your guys' way. And as he's leaving, he's like walking down this way towards the bar. Nope, that's this guy. Yeah, he like knocks down this chair in front of you.
Would she get an attack of opportunity if he's leaving?
Yes, that is true.
Hey, I'm gonna unarmed strike him because that.
I actually believe both of you would get an attack of opportunity.
Oh,
So yep, just basically attack roll. You guys got him.
We both
There you
hit.
What
I have 18.
Okay.
And then I add.
That plus your proficiency, so it'd be plus 5. It's
22.
If you look down in the yep. That should be
22.
Yep, you're both able to deal damage.
Cool. You add dexterity onto that, right? 5.
And then roll your d6.
What are you hitting him
right?
with?
That's already.
D6.
First one? Yeah,
Yeah.
D6.
Just the regular one.
I'm like, where are they? I'm blind.
So you also do 6 damage. Because you're gonna add your strength onto that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, so 5 and 6?
Yep.
So you both, as he's getting away, you both end up noticing that he's starting to look back, and as he's like looking back and trying to make his move, you know that you see the weakness in his like awareness to what's happening as he hears this commotion behind him, and you both just kind of gut him, like noticing that there's this like weight in combat that he was so engaged with, and you end up dropping him as he's unable to recover from the wounds that you've just inflicted in this heap of kind of like guts and
I wonder if
blood.
we weren't supposed to kill that guy.
Well, he's dead now. It doesn't matter.
And now at this time, Taya.
Oh, right. I forgot. So we're still in the same spot after that. We're gonna come around this way.
You can move further than that too. It's 5, 10, 15. You still
Sure,
have 15 more
30, yeah.
movement. So you can go 20, 25. Like you can go up.
You
here
could
if
almost get around the corner
Yeah.
of the barn,
I
too.
think I will get around the corner
wanna go, around
here.
there.
All right.
And I'm dumb, so I'm just gonna sit there for a sec.
And you're starting to notice that this orc has now seen you sitting there, and he's grabbing this guy, but he's ready with this big axe that he's gonna come and like definitely like round this corner
Oh boy.
and try to like get you out of the way, because at this point he's now concerned about his own survival and he's not looking to cause mayhem. He's now prepared to deal with this, and he's gonna start coming around that corner. It is now, let's take a look. Bill's turn.
So is he still at like this spot?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's
Okay.
behind the wall.
He's
My goal was to keep it in here, but there is still a door, so.
5, 10, 15, 20, 30. And I'm gonna just shoot at him.
Go ahead and roll. He is behind cover.
Yeah. Does he know I'm there? Or am I still hidden?
Now that you've, I would
Now that
say
I'm
you,
attacked, yeah.
I would say that I would let you roll to maintain your stealth.
Okay. I'd like to do that. That's a 20.
Yeah, I would say that you've moved in a way that he is not aware of your motions.
Okay, I'm gonna attack him then with my sweet advantage. It's a 6 or a 10. That'll be 15.
15 does hit.
All right, I'm gonna roll 2d6s. So 1, 5, so 6 plus 3 is 9 damage to him.
9 damage. You end up, again, he's not aware that you're shooting at him at this time, and you've moved to, because the last shot you did was a situation where
Yeah.
he didn't know you were there, you're moving forward. You end up taking another shot at him, and he's totally clueless to where this is coming from. And he is now hit with this. Belmont is now noticing that his situation is dire, and he's trying to wiggle out, and he's starting to get pretty close to getting out of the clutches.
I'm gonna say another sweet line. I'm gonna look at whoever's near me and say, "Bar's closed."
He's gonna be the corny one.
Are you writing that down?
yeah.
Oh, goody. Oh, yeah. 'Cause
He's gonna have so many sweet one-liners.
oh, my God.
I'm excited to hear these back later in a situation where it doesn't call for it.
You're now starting to like, some of the noble people are like starting to notice your guys' actions, and they're like, what is happening? Like they thought maybe you brought the trouble with you, but they now see you're dispatching with it, and you're starting to win some favor.
We could feed him some fun lines.
So yeah, now he's in a pretty bad situation. Belmont is now squirming and trying to get out, and you can tell he's starting to get close, and he's grabbing on, and he's really hampering this orc's mobility. And as this is happening, now that we have all this cold air coming in, and everybody's kind of like going towards doors and windows and trying to look for a way out, and you're starting to see people now starting to file out, all of a sudden you start to see these really like heavy set, like fur-wearing guys start to come in through these doors. You see 2 people come in from the porch area to the south, and you see 2 people end up coming through. This guy busts through back again through this door out of the cold with this big, like, it looks like it was the side of a tree like this bark that's like all the way down to the base, but he's wearing this huge shield that he comes through with, and it's just this monster of a man comes through, and he busts through over here, and he ends up coming right through the doorway, and like he's right in front of you, and you're seeing that he's like towering like feet above you, and he's like coming in here through the shield. He kind of looks at you with this really like intimidating stare, and he sees you coming in as he comes through there, and then you see him go through with this sword, and he's gonna just try running this friggin' orc through that's behind this bar. And you see him that he very easily comes through. He comes through here, and this orc now sees, and this orc has this look of like, what have I just gotten into, and now this is where my end is. And he like runs this sword right through like the bottom half of his chin, and he like kills this orc just outright through and through. As this dwarf woman who's also clad in this like heavy like fur, like this wolf fur kind of thing, she comes through, and she has this hammer that comes through, and she just walks through and kind of looks at the crowd and is like eyeballing to make sure there aren't any threats, and sees you guys like all ready to go, and there's like blood all over the place, and they're just kind of assessing the situation. As another dwarf comes through the south door, kicks in through like that way.
This one?
Yes, correct.
Thank God.
And comes through there and sees the situation and is like ready to roll, and like looks to his right towards that table where there's the locals kind of like looking over there, and very quickly sees them, and then looks over at the nobles and is now scanning the area very closely and intently to see if there's any like threats, and again sees the blood and the mayhem back that way, and sees that all of that is going on there. As one more, like now this guy is like a hooded, cloaked individual. He has like this like heavy leather getup, comes through. It's not the same kind of garb, but he comes through, and he's this like tall individual with this like big great axe that he's walking through with, and you can tell he's walking through much calmer. I think he like has assessed the situation. He just appears and he knows what's going on, and he walks in the same door you guys came in. And like before you even like notice it, he's behind you and he's assessing the situation very calmly as he's like sauntering his way up front with the others. And now they've entered into the mist. All the orcs are now dead, and they're starting to come through. And now at this time, that big shielded individual is now kind of like walking through and is like standing like face to face with you and just kind of eyeballing you and looking around as this dwarf woman comes up and ends up going through and grabbing Belmont LaFleur, grabbing him and like taking him outside, as the dwarf to the southern side ends up grabbing one of the nobles who's like hiding, like pissing himself next to this plant basically, ends up grabbing him and taking him out into the porch area. So they've now started taking people like with them from the party. As excuse me, there's that guy up there. He ends up going to the booth area, and he's going to end up grabbing like a very like a noble looking like woman, and he's going to grab her and like take her outside to go like talk with her, and they're going to go outside, and they're starting to like now take like noble people with them now that they've assessed that the orc threat is gone, and they're starting to move people out as this big shielded guy is just kind of watching the situation, as now the nobles are confused as to what's happening, and their party, their reception has now turned into this crazy situation, as now everything's gotten really intense and people are starting to freak out. Now, right next to Kithril, an old woman starts like grabbing at you real quick, noticing like your stature and the way you handled yourself in battle, and she's like, "Excuse me, I know it's a bad time right now, but there's some gifts on that table up there. I need you to switch the label out on the red envelope with that big box over there. I can't have the other families thinking I'm not giving a good gift. If you could do that for me, it's really important. Right now, nobody's paying attention to the gifts. I need you to do this for me."
I'm gonna like look at her blankly and then just kind of like freeze and kind of stutter and stammer some lame excuse and like point her to you.
Yeah.
I can pay you handsomely if one of you can. People are starting to look at me, and the situation is getting bad.
I'll take the money up front.
I need you to switch the labels.
How much? Give me some gold.
She has a bag. I'm like, I can't flash gold here. Go switch it out. It's
Okay, I'm gonna go switch out the labels on those presents.
So you're moving forward now. Everybody's like horrified, and you're starting to move forward. So you're
I'm
gonna
gonna,
head
like-
to that table where the presents are with the couple?
Yeah, I'm gonna like move so like kind of like a moonwalk, so like it doesn't look like I'm going there.
This guy with this big shield, like this individual is taking the woman outside to that north door, and
going
he
this
kind of
way then?
eyeballs you, and he takes a look at his dwarven friend, who's that way.
Do we want to? Yeah.
Yeah, we can grab that. We can wait until that's over too. So now you're starting to moonwalk towards that area, and as you're noticing is now, like these fur coat wearing, like looks like these like mountain men and woman are starting to go through, and they're now like taking people out, and like this.
Where are the presents at? Over here.
Yeah, on the table with the married couple, and now they're starting to like look up and look around to make sure everything's okay and that nobody's hurt, and like the guy, the newlywed groom, he's starting to see and make sure that his halfling friend is okay, and he's gonna kind of start looking up and making sure everybody's okay. But this male dwarf that's near that door is starting to grab another individual, and he's like kind of making sure, and he's like stay where you are. And it's like you've all seen enough and you've all been through enough. The last thing we need is any more blood on anybody's hand. And he like goes out that porchway, and then the door shuts behind him, and everybody's now freaking out as they're now starting to file out. And now the last of the mountain men is in here in the building with you with this big shield, staring down Taya, like just death stare, looking at you, seeing that you're like the strong person here, like trying to like
Double
intimidate you, like
Thank
really
God,
get
Double
through.
quotes.
Thank God they haven't made me.
And now they're like walking through, and now they're all like leaving, and everybody's starting to ask questions and wonder what's going on.
I'm still trying to.
is that a
I'm,
quote?
I'm switching those tags.
Do you want to make a move for?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm gonna.
Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
22.
It's pretty good. You really want that money.
So you really
Not surprised.
carefully end up just like, well, like kind of making it look like, oh, maybe I'm looking around. People are looking and making sure everybody's okay, and this is the perfect moment for you to switch those labels around. You find this really big gift, and then you switch them on there, and you kind of look back, just making sure nobody's noticing you, and you see this old lady like, like really like, good.
I'm surprised you can do that through the arthritis.
The arthritis.
I'm not giving a thumbs up. I can't make my hands do anything else.
Senior citizen should have life alert.